Ooh boy, let the convoluted plot threads begin. Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Metal Gear for the MSX. Love that little tune. This is Big Boss. Operation Intrude N313. Infiltrate the enemy fortress, Outer Heaven, and destroy Metal Gear, the final weapon. First, contact Grey Fox, who's vanished, and learn about Metal Gear. Call on frequency 120.85 from now on. Over. And thus, the stealth begins, and get used to hearing this track, by the way, the theme of Terra, because it plays for about 85%. This is Big Boss. This is an infiltration mission. Avoid detection by the enemy. Over. And he means that. Metal Gear 1, of all of them, I think is probably the most punishing when you get spotted. Avoid enemy detection as much as possible, because enemies at this point will probably do about a fifth of my health per shot. Anyway, here we get a ration. Metal Gear aficionados would know that pretty much as your standard healing item. You can only use it in the menu, though. Over here in the third truck, we got binoculars. I still don't know how to use these. Because, admittedly, this is only, I think, my third playthrough of this version. And even then, the first version of this I ever played was the version in Subsistence. Or was it Substance? I forget, whichever one was Metal Gear 3's Special Edition. So, I'm still not exactly sure about how everything works. Either way, we got card key 1 in there, so now we can open up certain doors we couldn't before. And don't worry about punching enemies, because the moment you punch them, they're in a stun lock. In fact, some enemies will even drop things, but I don't think that starts happening until slightly later. I could be entirely wrong about that, as I mentioned before. Anyway, come over here after getting card key 1, and we find this door. Ah, sleepy. Worst guard ever. Either way, grab this gas mask. You want this. And, oh wow, they actually can drop things this early. Ah, forgot about that. Handgun ammo. But I don't have a handgun, so that ammo just got wasted. One thing you'll notice, though, with this game in particular, is just how terrible these guys' vision is. Metal Gear's known for having very blind guards, but these guys have no peripheral at all. Even in Metal Gear Solid 1, they'll notice you if you're right next to them. But nope, not these guys. Unless you're in their direct line of sight, in a straight line, you won't be noticed. Either way, technically the way to progression is up through that door, but we'll want to head to the east first and come into these trucks. Because in this first one, we got a handgun, but no ammo for it. Yay. And now we want to wait a bit. And enter the one on the right. And in here we get landmines. Places on the floor, enemies can activate them. And now we want to head back left. And now we have to wait for these guys. So they can get relieved of their duty. So the next shift can come in. Thankfully, though, these guys don't hear us coming at all from behind them, and we can enter the elevator. Gee, I wonder where I'm supposed to go. This is Big Boss. Be careful of cameras. Over. And he means that cameras in this game are, for the most part, your greatest enemy. Because they move a lot more frequently, and they actually have a very consistent viewing point. The moment that one of them, I think, is even a pixel below you, they can start seeing you. So that's pretty bad. Anyway, we want to end up in that door to the west, so we need to kill this guard. I could have entered from the western entrance, but I decided to enter from the east for just some reason. Come over here. By the way, most enemies will go down in about 3 or 4 punches. And in here we get some handgun ammo. Now, I'm going to show off a little exploit you can do. If you enter a room with something like that, exit, and then re-enter, it respawns, so you can easily grab more ammo like that. And gee, I wonder what direction I'm supposed to go in. And here, by the way, we get a prisoner of war. I'll get into what these guys do in a moment, but he's saved! Open this door and get on your gas mask, because... just believe me on this, because this is a gas-filled room. This is Big Boss. I forgot to tell you. Use a gas mask in gassy areas. Resistance leader Schneider knows its location. Over. They never actually tell you where to call Schneider from, but his frequency is 120.79 if I recall correctly. But I don't need to call him because I know where everything is. Though I suppose I should have, because he's technically an important character. Ah. Anyway, as to what prisoners of war do... I'm saying this because I think I'm about to rescue another one. You need to rescue a certain amount of them to beat the game. But they'll also give you certain hints. After rescuing 5, you'll rank up. That's what the class thing is at the bottom there. The Foxhounder who infiltrated a few days ago is safe. They're holding him. Not gonna tell me where? Okay. So they'll give you little hints like that. After rescuing 5, your class will increase, which will also increase your total life. So rescuing them is in your best interest. Just don't shoot them, because that lowers your rank by 1 star. And trust me, you don't want that happening, because it's very possible to get into a dead game because of that. Anyway, up here we get... Plastic Bomb. Otherwise known as Plastic Explosives, which is likely C4. So yeah. Also, this is a random little roller trap. I don't get the purpose of this, but I'm gonna just continue on anyway. Now, one thing you need to be careful about with guards is that their behavior is somewhat random. They all move along certain paths, but what directions they'll face when they stop and just take a look around, if I recall, is random. So don't be in their direct line of sight unless you're sure you're gonna be able to kill them first, like this guy. Ooh, ammo. That guy almost always drops an item in my experience. It's either a ration or some ammo. And here we get card key 2. To those who remember my original Metal Gear Solid run, you might remember that the cards work in a hierarchy system. One card key can open any doors of its number and the ones below it. Like a level 2 card key could open up a level 2 door and a level 1 door. Not so much in this game. A level 2 door can only open, a level 2 card key can only open level 2 doors. A level 1 key can only open level 1 doors, so on and so forth. So if you don't remember what card key number a door is, you're gonna need to constantly switch between the two in your inventory. Now, I'm not going over the controls because it's an old MSX keyboard game, and plus there's all the Xbox 360, PS3, HD things. It's a thing. Plus, on my emulator, I actually customized the controls. So, yeah. I forget what the codec transceiver thing is in the normal controls, but for me it's R. Also, the plastic explosive respawns as well. I don't think you ever really need to collect more of that, but yeah, okay. Also, I'm showing this trek back for some reason. I actually thought I cut this out, because we're actually backtracking to the area right before that ammo box I showed you guys the little exploit with. But first, I do want to enter that upper door. And in here we get remote missiles. That's what you'd think. It's a remote-controlled missile. You do need that to progress onwards. In fact, you need a good amount of the weapons to progress onwards, but that one's the most immediate because we're going to be using it in just a couple minutes. Yeah, see, that guard's stupid. I was pretty much as close as you can get without hugging him. Oh, now I cut. Huh. That was kind of random. I just cut past the gas room, the prisoner war room, and the ammo room. Well, you know where I am. Huh, that was a really stupid edit. I guess I was tired last night. And here we get the next prisoner of war. I'm saved! No information? You little... Anyway, we want to head north and east to get to the next little point of interest. In here, we got a little bit of a boss. 4 gunners. To shoot for me is the spacebar, but you do need to essentially just shoot your handgun in these guys' faces. Fists will also work, but with this many bullets flying at you, you want to use a gun. The guns can do pretty decent damage to you at this point too, so try your best to avoid them. And for beating them, you get a silencer. You equip this in your inventory slot, and if I recall correctly, it silences your handgun bullets. Yeah. And here we get a much better weapon. The grenade launcher. I'll rarely be using it. It's more powerful, but I like the handgun just due to its thing. Also, I should mention, if you're in a room with a lot of enemies, don't use your handgun unless it kills the last enemy, because the gunshot will alert the other enemies. I guess that technically wasn't a boss fight, because I can't find the name of it. Either way, we're back here. And up here is where you have to use the remote-controlled missile, as Big Boss will now tell us. This is Big Boss. I forgot to tell you. Destroy the power panel of the high-voltage current. Use a remote-controlled missile. Schneider, the resistance leader, knows its location. Over. Well, I already have it. Anyway, equip the remote-controlled missile. Fire. And now your movement controls are for the missile. Players of Metal Gear Solid will recognize that. And put the handgun back on, because I don't want to shoot a missile in people's faces yet. And we want to head into that door to the east, so get over there. And another prisoner of war. I'm saved! Diane of the Resistance supports you on frequency 120.33. Diane knows enemy information. Well, let's give her a call. Scroll all the way to the left. This is Solid Snake. Your reply, please. This is Steve. Diane? Diane went shopping and hasn't returned yet. Useless! I don't know why I'm scrolling back. It defaults back to 1.20.85 normally. Oh well. Either way, now we want to head north. And we don't have to head west as far as I can recall, but I want to head over here because I get a pretty good item. Also, I'm not sure what the difference between the red and the gray guards is. I think it's the items they can drop or something. I'm not even entirely sure. And here we get our good old friend, the cardboard box. Use this in your inventory. And as long as you're not moving, and as for long as they don't touch you, if I recall correctly, and enemies will never notice you. It's kind of broken. Later games, as we'll see, will add the ability for them to check the box, but for right now, it's pretty much God tier. Anyway, we want to head down into the basement floors, particularly basement floor 2 here. Because this is where I want to go to progress. God, look at that cardboard box moving animation. Glorious. It's especially effective against cameras. Who, for some reason, the security guards manning the cameras never seem to notice that there's suddenly a box there and then it suddenly disappears. Anyway, another prisoner of war. I'm saved! The foxhounder called Grey Fox, or something, is confined in an isolated cell. See, that's useful information. Better than that. Well, actually, no. Suck it, Simon's Quest. That's better information. There we go. That's the sentence I wanted to say. Though, admittedly, this is still a game I would call a guide game to some extent, because there is some pretty obscure stuff. See what I mean? Card key switching. It's annoying. I'm saved! The best way to the isolated cell is to be caught by the enemy. Well, that's useless. But as you notice now, actually, I have more total life and a second star added because I saved 5 prisoners of war. Your class also, if I recall, influences the weapons you can use, but that'll come into play later. And in here we get a submachine gun. I forget if I ever use this. I forget if it's even necessary to use. Anyway, we want to head south, avoid these guards, and head west. God, these guards are terrible. Don't move! Oh, shiznit. You're caught! No! And that's the end of the game, folks. No, it's not. I'm lying. This is Big Boss. Infiltration successful. Find Grey Fox's cell. Check the wall. Over. You have to yell that last sentence there? Anyway, this is pretty obscure as to what you do. By the way, these guys are better guards than any RPG guards because they took all of our shit. What you have to do is punch the wall right here. And it destroys it. Somehow. Glad you arrived, rookie. I'm Grey Fox. The final weapon, Metal Gear, is a nuclear-armed, heavy walking tank adaptable to any terrain. When complete, it enables nuclear attacks from any location on Earth. Destroy it before then. There's only one way to destroy Metal Gear. The developer, Dr. Petrovich, knows it. He's somewhere in this building. Find Dr. Petrovich. Okay, Gray Fox. And by the way, you need to punch the wall right here to exit. But with that, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 2, we'll be seeing if we can find all of our stuff and escape from this little cell location. See you guys then.